So yesterday, I asked you guys over on TikTok and Instagram to send me through your bold predictions, hot takes, that kind of thing about the NRL. And my God, you guys have come through some absolute rippers that we're going to talk about in just a moment's time. But before we do, we're trying to hit 1,000 subs before the new footy season starts. So make sure if you're watching this video and you're new to the channel that you hit that red button, subscribe and like the video. So we'll get straight into it. The first one we've got is from James_Hunter08, and a lot of people had this bold take as well, but it's Parramatta to finish in the bottom 8. Now, I don't think this is a possibility, to be honest. Their team is still stacked. The opposite to this, there's a lot of people coming in there saying that Parramatta for the top 4. So what is it, guys? You got Parramatta bottom 8 or Parramatta top 4? I think they're going to be the bottom 4 of the top 8. I think Josh Hodgson's still a decent player if he can keep himself fit. They've brought in Matt Dory's probably going to have a good year. Jack Murchie's going to have a good year. Jermaine Hopgood is going to announce himself to NRL this season. I, in no way, shape or form, see Parramatta finish in the top 8, but I can see how you think they would. The media have said their team's a lot worse than it is. I mean, Reid Marnie and also Isaah Yeo are big losses, but there's no way they miss out the top 8 again, surely. So I think I'm going to have to disagree with your hot take there. Sorry, mate. Now, move on to the second one. This is from Lowy. Sorry, mate, if I stuffed it up. But he says, Xavier Coates will go shit and be dropped from Storm to a lower grade. No way, bro. He was like the top try scorer for the first 8 or so games or something like that last season until he got injured. He is a phenomenal player. I think he pushes his way back into the Origin arena at least this season. Maybe he won't make the team, but his name will certainly be up there. He's playing for the Storm on the wing. There's no way he can go bad. I could score 10 tries a season on the wing for the Storm, and I suck at rugby league. I think Xavier Coates is going to use this as motivation and go out there and maybe beat Alex Johnston to a top try scorer spot. I don't think so, but yeah, there's no way for me that Xavier Coates goes that bad and plays reserve grade this year. Only way he plays reserve grade is if he gets injured again, has to come back and get some minutes up. This next take here is from NRL Edits, and he says Alex Johnston to make the Blues squad. Now, unfortunately for Alex Johnston, I don't think he is an Origin player. I think he's a phenomenal winger and probably the best at finishing potentially that I've ever seen. And I think by the time he retires, he'll have the top try scorers, but the wing position, especially for the Blues, is absolutely stacked. The guys I've got above him, just off the top of my head, is obviously Adokar and To'o, Joseph Swali, who I think probably is going to get a run this year, Daniel Tupou, of course. You've also got guys like Ruben Garrick. So that's 5 players that I've named in less than 10 seconds off the top of my head that are going to play Origin before Alex Johnston. Unfortunately for him, he just doesn't suit that mold. He doesn't have the tough carry aspect that you need, especially nowadays in Origin. Your wingers are basically second front rowers. Josh Adokar, while he doesn't really do that week in, week out, he can do that and has done that in Origin. So, unfortunately, I don't think that Alex Johnston will make the Blues squad for him. He might go down as one of the best players to never play for the Blues in his life, but honestly, I think he's happy just sitting there perched up on his left wing, scoring a bag load of tries every week for the Rabbitohs. Over to the next hot take from my boy Up the Dragons. If you don't know who he is, check out his content on TikTok. He posts unbelievable stuff. I know it's Dragons based, but get around it. So his bold, his hot take rather, is that Zach Lomax is going to have a breakout year and possibly could get into Origin camp. Now, I love the idea of this and the sound of this, but it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Freddie loves him, but I think sort of the same situation as Alex Johnston. In that there's just so many people above him. He's just in such a stacked position. You've got Turbo and Trell will be the New South Wales Blues centres if they're fit. You've got Stephen Crichton waiting there, Talakai as well, although I don't know if he's going to be in the conversation again, Tony Staggs, and then you start to look towards the Zach Lomaxes and stuff, and I probably missed 2 or 3 players that everyone's going to scream at me in the comments for, but I think Zach Lomax, I love him. I'd love him to have a breakout year as well, but just for the Dragons, I think depending on who his 5'8" is, because on that side, if Bud Sullivan's there and can make a good combination with him, that'd be awesome. But I think he's ready to make the jump. If he can just tone back the flick pass and use it when it's use it every now and then rather than just every single time, because it becomes so easy to read. You watch defenses, they literally hold off him, just jam him. He's got no time to, he's got no room to do it. But I think Zach Lomax for me is next couple of years for him, honestly make a break, whether he's going to be a mediocre centre or kick on to the potential that we know he has. So over to the next one, this is from Spikey saying Trell was better over at the Chooks. Now it's interesting. He's won 2 comps over there, but I mean, you also look at the team. Maybe it's because he's probably better suited to centre, and like, I'm not saying he's lazy because he's like the way he plays is the role that he's like being told to do, but he doesn't inject himself in the game that much at fullback. He's sort of getting the same touches as a fullback as he did as a centre in the Roosters, but I mean, everyone looks good in the Roosters pretty much, especially in that ridiculous like 2018, 2019 team. I don't know. It's hard for me to judge this one. I love him at the Rabbitohs, to be honest. I think that's his home. I really don't know. Let me know in the comments whether you think Latrell was better at the Rabbitohs or at the Roosters. Now, over to this one. I don't know why, but this guy, like, it didn't have a name, so I can't shout you out. But he's gone and said, Luai is nothing without Cleary. And I hate this take so much because Cleary plays better when he's got Luai with him as well. They're a partnership. They play together in the halves. Obviously, they're going to be better when they play with like the same bloke who they have since they were 14 years old. Like, that just makes sense. But Luai went and showed how good he is by leading that Samoan team to a final of a World Cup after they got pumped by 50 in the first week. There's no way you can't tell me that Jarome Luai isn't a good player without like Nathan Cleary after that. I think he really stepped up and showed like that by himself that he's a talented player. Obviously, any player playing with like Nathan Cleary is going to be better. Like, that's how good Nathan Cleary is. You put any single 6 in that position and he's going to play better. So I think this is a stupid argument, and Jarome Luai deserves credit for how good of a player he is individually. This one here from Rue over on TikTok, I really hope this isn't the case, but what he said is around half of the usual players won't be in the first round because teams will have to bring in B and C grade players, and this is like sort of in conjunction to boycotting as a result of the CBA. Now I think if they boycott, no players will play. I think they'll just like refuse. Like the team will still get named and everything, and then they just won't rock up to the game. I think that's the way it'll go down. But if this happens, this would suck. Like, we've been waiting so long for footy, and then you go out there and then you give them like an under 20s level product. It's gonna sort of like be a bit of kick in the face. Well, I mean, the fans, I suppose, but it's also maybe a really good idea for the players because the NRL are using them for the money and making money off them. If they go out and give them a lesser product, maybe they'll say, you know what, let's just get you back on the field. Let's like have some negotiations that are like more favoured to you. But yeah, the whole CBA situation at the moment is so ugly, and I just like really hope it gets resolved because it's not looking good at the moment. Next one is from Riley, basically .h. Isaah Yeo is not the best lock in the NRL. He's not even top 3. What? Are you serious? Isaah Yeo is one of the best players in the competition, let alone one of the best locks. He's so good. He's such a great link man for that Panthers side. He gives Jarome Luai and Nathan Cleary so much time and space. Like, lets them really utilise the outside weapons more. He's a great leader of men. He's also a ridiculously good defender. When do you ever see him get caught out in defence? When do you ever notice him on defence? That's how you know he's a good defender, because he's always there just putting in the work, making tackles. Even just look at his career progression. Like, he started his career in the centres and he's made his way into the 13, which just shows he's got such a good footy brain. I think to say he's not a top 3 lock is absolutely ludicrous. Now over to this one from Jacob.Barrett08 on Instagram. He has said Luke Keary to replace Luai for Blues 5'8". Now I don't think this is going to happen. Luke Keary had his chance at Origin. Yes, it was one game, but he was awful. Jarome Luai, if he's going to, I think he might get replaced at 5'8", and we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But I think, yeah, there's no way for me that Luke Keary takes his spot though. So now over to Success Funzio. That's an unreal name. What he has said on TikTok is that Dolphins will be the #1 Queensland team and Cowboys will fall off like Manly did last year. Now that is a hot take if ever I've seen one. The Dolphins will not be the #1 Queensland team next season. I think they're going to go better than a lot of people thought. They might be the 3rd best team. I think the Cowboys and the Broncos will be above them. Maybe they'll be around the same area as the Titans. But to say the Cowboys will fall off like Manly did last season, I don't think they're anywhere close to that kind of thing, because Manly rely on one player. Manly's game plan was focused around Tommy Turbo, where the Cowboys have multiple stars getting around there, and they're multiple faceted side. And I suppose like you can sort of see, well, Townsend didn't get injured last year. Their big stars didn't really miss too much time. I suppose Taumalolo, was it last year he had a couple broken hands, or was it that year before? But I guess I can see what you're saying. Like, if Robson gets injured and Townsend get injured at the same time, they can have a bit of a fall off. But I think the Cowboys have that much depth and that much cover that they'll be absolutely sweet. And there's no way they don't make the top 8 again this season. Previously, that we were going to talk about this, and here we are now. We are going on to Brody Monahan's comment, and so many people commented this as well. So, Brody, shout out to you because you were the first one I saw. But Burton to play 6 at Origin instead of Jerome Luai, and I actually agree with this. I think Matt Burton is an outstanding 6, and especially with Turbo and Trell in the team. Like, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that they'll be fit. But I think Matt Burton has to play Origin this year. He's just built for it, you know. Like, he's just that tough country boy. I think, especially with his kicks as well, he just adds an extra element to that team. And as well, people are, I suppose, talking about that maybe you pick Luai again because of that connection, but Burton has the connection with the Penrith boys as well. He played there for a couple of seasons. He knows the boys inside out as well. So I think that's not an issue with Matt Burton. And I honestly believe that Matt Burton would probably be a better suit and better fit for the Blues team if he is picked at 6. Now for this tape, we go back over to Instagram, and this is from _Samuel Sartori, and he's saying if Tyrell Sloan is out of form, the Dragons should give Lomax a shot at fullback. No, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to disagree with this, on a massive level. Zach Lomax, they tried him at fullback and it didn't work. He's a centre. He's an out and out centre. He's a specialist centre. He just needs some time, to develop his craft. Tyrell Sloan, if he's out of form, I think they need to put an arm around him and just say, mate, this is your position, especially because Cody Ramsey looks like he's not going to play this season. Just say, this is your position to hold down. This is your chance to go out and just prove yourself. If he doesn't, his form is so bad that he has to get dropped, they also have a young bloke, Trey Stewart, waiting in the wings, who's been pretty dominant in the lower grades coming through. But I don't know. I think if Sloan just let him play a whole season at fullback and just say, no matter what you do, this is your spot. Just go out there and have fun. I think that's what they need to do with Tyrell Sloan. Zach Lomax is the centre through and through. Please don't go shuffling him around. Now, this one from Kyle over at TikTok, and this guy, I see him comment on my stuff all the time. So shout out to you. You've been there for a very long time. So he's a real one. His comment is, team from outside the top 4 to win the comp for the first time since 1995. It'll also be the first time a team's won from outside the top 4 for the first time since we've had this new final structure. I think if this is going to happen, this year is the year. So I'm going to list 7 teams here who I think have a very good chance of winning the comp this year, and 3 of them have to finish in the bottom, the bottom 4 of the top 8. So you've got the Storm, Panthers, Roosters, Rabbitohs, Eels. You've also got Sharks and Cowboys. So that's 7 teams that are all pretty red hot and ready to have a crack at the title this year, and they're all sitting outside. The 3 of them are going to have to sit between 5th and 7th. So I absolutely think this is and they're all quality sides. So I think absolutely this is the year that this might happen in the NRL. Now over to Kurt. He has said over on TikTok that Taumalolo to play Origin. Now, for this to happen, a lot has got to change. A lot of eligibility rules are going to have to change, and a lot of people aren't going to like it. But, I could see it happening, especially because they want Origin to be the pinnacle of the game, and why not have the best of the best if they are, Taumalolo's been in Australia for a long time, but the argument is there to be made that he's also played for New Zealand, which is Australia's biggest arch rival in rugby league, so that's a bit how you going, but I don't know. I think a lot of the older blokes are a bit how you going about this, but, man, let the boys play, I reckon. So we'll go over to Sloan season, and he's another guy, shout out to him. Absolutely, he's just a ripper of a bloke. So his comment is, Kalen Ponga to flop at 6, then the Knights will go and make a run of mixing up the team and eventually choose a good team too late. This is such a, I don't even know if I can call this a hot take, because it's probably just going to happen. The Knights are just that kind of organisation at the moment where this is just what they'll do. They need to pick and stick. If they're going to play Ponga at 6, leave him there all season, let him develop his game there. They can't do what they did last time and then after 3 rounds just go, oh, let's fucking put him back to fullback and ruin our what was our whole point of our preseason. But I don't know. I did hear the Guru saying something last weekend with Kempy and that you got to do it for at least 8 to 10 weeks. I think they got to do it for the whole season. If they're going shit, they're going shit. You're bringing in I think Will Price from the Super League next year. He's a gun fullback, so obviously their future plan is just to leave Ponga at 6. So just do it. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. The whole chopping and changing thing really annoys me. Now, this one comes from Spencer, and there's probably a little bit of a bias in this one, as you can see from his profile picture. But we got Sam Walker replaces DCE in Origin. I don't know how DCE loses his spot. He's the Queensland captain, and he's won, like, what, 2 of the last 5 series with the absolute backs against the wall. When, like, this is meant to be New South Wales dominant period, and they've barely won more series than the Queensland. I think DCE probably deserves to be there. If he plays bad in the first couple of games, then give Sam Walker a shot in the last game. Why not? I do think Sam Walker's a good player and will be an Origin player in the future, but I don't know whether it's this season or maybe next season, year after. We'll have to see how DCE goes. DCE is aging out, and his club form might drop off a cliff, so we'll see. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now over to Christian Law. He has said that Jack Bird could be the 4th best lock in the comp behind Yeo, Murray, and Taumalolo, and I think he has all the tools to do that. He's a big, strong ball carrier, good with his hands. He's also a great defender as well, and I think lock is his perfect position. He suits the modern day 13. That's just he epitomizes what the modern day 13 should be, and I absolutely love this take. Obviously, he's touching a sweet spot there because he knows I'm a Dragons fan, but a little bit biased towards this. But I think he could definitely be one of the better locks in the competition. Maybe not 4th, but definitely one of the better ones. Now we go over to Blaze.Blake. I love this. Dolphins to win a premiership before the Warriors and the Titans. And honestly, I don't know if I can call this one a hot take either. It's probably true. The Warriors are a pretty poorly run organisation, and the Titans aren't far behind. And the Dolphins, they're starting off well with Wayne Bennett. The last team that Wayne Bennett took over their inaugural season was the Broncos. They've had a pretty good history. So we'll have to wait and see with this one for the Dolphins. But I love this, and I think it'd be very funny if they come through and swoop and win a comp before a couple other teams there. Now over to pretty much the last hot take we got. It's from 2 Point Conversion Podcast. Shout out to him as well. Go check out his stuff. He's always there. Probably one of my biggest fans. So shout out to him. He has said Roosters to finish 6th or 7th on the back of some dramas all season, thanks to some cheese antics. And he also reckons that cheese is going to flop. Unfortunately, I couldn't agree less. The cheese is going to revolutionise this Roosters side. They probably should have gone close to winning the comp last year, and I reckon they will go very, very close to winning comp this year. The rest of their team is gelled. Now they're just adding in this inner 9. I think the Roosters are going to go ridiculously well. At the end of the last year, they were absolutely humming, and I think they'll do the same thing again. I honestly have the Roosters finishing the top 4 potentially. I think in my prediction I had them minor premiers. And I think the cheese Dalian Hooker potentially. So that's what I have to say about that one. Unfortunately, sorry mate. Now over to the very last one here. We got BC23 saying you're going to score 2 tries in a charity match. I sure hope so. Playing outside John Bernard is going to be an absolute treat. But yeah, 25th of February, Lidcombe Oval. 4 p.m. for the main game. There's a couple of games before. Make sure you head over to the link in my description over on TikTok and Instagram. Head over to Sportshed TV and subscribe to their YouTube. But yeah, head to the link and buy some tickets for there. Hope to see you there. If you do, come up, say hello. I'd love to grab a photo with you and stuff and get to meet you all. But thank you guys so much for watching this, and thanks for sending in all your stuff. There was over 200 comments to get through, so it was absolutely ridiculous support. Thank you guys again, and make sure as we're trying to hit 1,000 subs before the start of the season, hit that red button, man. See you later.